मतलब
Hello.
इसी का
Hi, very good morning to all of you. I'm Rajul Pratap Singh. I welcome you all. I welcome all the key speakers for this very special session. For this very special 121st session, Mr. Jaswinder Singh ji is going to moderate this session. But before I formally invite Jaswinder Singh ji, to take over the session, I would like to formally introduce him. Jaswinder Singh ji is the founder and CEO of Wordsworth ALT. His as I said, like to be the moderator, we requested him, and we are very honored that he accepted our request. Jaswinder Singh ji has an experience of 30 years in the field of education and technology, and has also served as a consultant to UNESCO and education. Wordsworth English Lab is designed for India and is highly research initiative of ACT UNIF Group. It is a trusted education company with 2 decades of experience, 2 decades of service in technology, education, and training. Its expertise in technology, multimedia, and content development has been instrumental in presenting a world-class language lab solution for academia in India. In a short span of time, Wordsworth English Language Lab has managed considerable recognition across country for its unique content and methodology. Over 3,000 installations institutions across the country stand testimony of the quality of product, implementation, training, and content service provided by ACUNIF and its committed network of leaders. We are very honored, Jaswinder sir, that you have joined us today. I would request now you to take over the session, Jaswinder Singh ji.
Thank you, Rajul, and good morning, everybody. Uh, though I was supposed to be one of the speakers, but I'm going to be moderating and going to be a speaker as well. So I would love to put my points also because we all need to discuss what we are going to take up the NEP 2020, and what we actually trying to say is let's see if we can decode the entire this thing. So let me start with introducing all the key speakers of today. So to start with, before we get onto that, a little bit of information about India International Education Council and School Allergy Solutions, who are the organizers of this event. First of all, very important that this is the 121st session, and it's been almost an year that they've been working on that. They started in August, and this is what we've come to. We are now actually on the 121st session. Uh, India International Education Council is a non-profit organization, and it actually is working in the field of education. They have got collaborators from 12 different countries. The goal is to create a better world through education. Like Nelson Mandela said, education will remove poverty. So that is what the goal is, to create a better world for education, build quality centers for elementary education, which is approachable and affordable for all. Okay, find out the best education practices across the world, and share it with people. Create more awareness about hygiene and learning disabilities. Okay, School Allergy Solutions and IIEC is actually into publication. They've got around 100 cities that they were planning to be operational in by the year 2022, and soon they'll open up membership for individuals and institutions. They're actually looking at becoming leaders of teacher training and collaborating with students and parents. Going next is that highlight of this program. This was actually this these sessions were started in order to understand what NEP 2020 is and have different perspective from different edu leaders. What has happened is there's a lot of buzz about this new policy. People are excited. The whole country is excited. So it was very important to understand what people think about it and get their feedbacks. And these feedbacks are going to be collated and then shared with the education ministry now, so that they can also understand what the whole the fraternity, education fraternity thinks about it. Highlights about this leadership talks is 120 sessions, okay, already done, and they had 12,944 registrations till date, out of which 11,889 questions were asked. And these registrations and questions were from 5 countries: India, America, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Nepal. These have been conducted in I mean, the registrations are from 22 states and 91 cities. What India International aims to do is, have 200 such sessions, connect with 100,000 educators, 20,000 institutions, and more than 1,000 plus eminent speakers, like the speaker that we have today. So let me take this opportunity to introduce the first speaker of the day, Suchi Gupta ma'am. Suchi Gupta ma'am is the principal of Air Force School, Jammu. And welcome, Suchi Gupta ma'am. It's a pleasure to have you. Ma'am is a passionate educator with around a decade of experience. She's MA and B.Ed in English. Okay, she has served as an educationist in the education line for the past 25 years. Okay, and she's been born and brought up in Delhi and has received all her education from Delhi itself. She has
Thank
she has
you.
been chosen as a resource person to train English language teachers by CBSE, and she's also held a lot of workshops and has been a resource person in a lot of things, including Gurdaspur and Pathankot. Welcome, Suchi Gupta, ma'am. It's a pleasure to have you. We are honored to have you.
Thank you, Jaswinder sir. Thank you so much.
Pleasure to have you, ma'am. We look forward to hearing from you. Okay. Next, let me go and let's look at the other key speaker of today. The other speaker today we have is Alok sir. Alok sir is the Assistant Regional Officer of DAB Public Schools for the Jammu and Kashmir region. Welcome, Alok sir. We are honored to have you. Pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you.
Alok,
Thank you.
Alok sir has been a former principal of Maharaja Hari Singh DAV Public School, Akhnur, Jammu. He has decades of experience and has been awarded and recognized by a lot of different forums and for his contribution to the field of education. Sir, I understand working with DAV, you've got a lot of experience. Welcome to this forum, and we look forward to hearing from you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right, sir. Then we move on to the third key speaker. We have Dr. Sanchit Mukherjee. She's the principal of Birla Open Minds International School, Jammu and Kashmir. Welcome, ma'am. Pleasure to have you on this board. Uh, Dr. Sanchit has been a seasoned educator for the last 22 years with varied interests as teacher and as school leader. Okay, she has actually worked on national and international curriculums. Her forte is English language teaching, and she has worked extensively with British Council as a BCSA, that is British Council School Ambassador, in promoting the spirit of international mindness. That's great, ma'am. And she has won a lot of innovative school. She has won the award of most innovative school principal from ICON, that is in India. Ma'am, welcome to this forum. We look forward to hearing from you. Okay, going on next, we have the fourth edu leader, Prashant sir. Prashant Sagal sir is the principal of Adarsh Public School, New Delhi. Sir, welcome to this forum. Honored to have you with us. Uh, Prashant sir, he's actually finished his schooling from St. Mary's School, New Delhi, Delhi Cant. He has the qualification of MCOM. He's done his B.Ed. He's done his CTET and an MBA degree. He has worked for 2 years in Australia and with Singapore Telecom, and is also a CBSE coordinator and an observer. He's a member of the Rotary International Society for Technology and Education, and an alumnus of Indian Institute of Management, IIM Ahmedabad. Sir, I too am from Ahmedabad. I welcome you. I'm happy to have you here, sir.
Thank you. Thank
Awarded,
you. Pleasure to be here.
yeah. So Prashant sir has been awarded as awardee of the Global Human Rights Protection Award, which is the Dr. S. Radhakrishnan Award. He has worked with XIX, or is that 19th, sir? Am I right? 19th Commonwealth Games, Delhi 2010, as a liaising officer. He's authored a book by the name of Rejuvenating Oneself, a book on motivational stories, doing online courses, and is works on child rights. That's a great thing, sir. Pleasure to have you. Looking forward to hear from you your point of views on the
Thank you.
national education policy. Next, we have Himani ma'am. Himani ji is a young, I think, youngest among us. Welcome to this session, Himani ji. Himani is
Thank you, Jacinda.
Himani is a postgraduate in biotechnology, and she has been working in the education sector as a certified master trainer and facilitator. She has a vast experience in India as well as internationally. In her experience of about a decade, she has been instrumental in training the teachers with new teaching methodologies to help them get better equipped to deal with the evolving learning needs. Very right, ma'am, because I always say that teachers will have to cope up with the speed of students, and they are much faster than we are. So we need to equip our teachers with better teaching technologies and methodologies, rightly said. She has completed her fellowship in strategic learning and development from United States. She's a certified psychometric testing professional and has conducted various tests and analysis for all three pillars of the education system. She is also an NLP practitioner and a Google digital marketing specialist. Welcome to this forum, Himani ji. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Jason.
Okay.
Thank you.
I move forward to the next key speaker, Vinayak Sharma. Vinayak Sharma is the national head for looking after business and strategy for Torrens. Torrens is a music company which they work with schools, and they promote music in schools. Vinayak has got an MBA with double majors in finance and marketing from AIMA. He dropped out after clearing first group of CA final. I suppose he wanted to do some business, and he says that he's actually started his own brand of tea, and which sells successfully in the eastern region of India. Having a decade of experience in FMCG sector, branding and supply chain, along with handling international trade and logistics. Since the year 2017, he is involved in bringing an uplifting bringing upliftment in the field of music and education. He is providing these things, services to schools. Welcome, Vinayak ji. Welcome to this session. I now would like to invite all the key speakers. So you all know what the flow is. We start with a 1 minute introduction and what we're going to talk about that. That is followed by 8 to 10 minutes of your talk on the topic of your choice, actually catering to the NEP 2020. Post that, we'll have question answers, and that is how we're going to conclude. So I would request Suchi Gupta ma'am to come up with her point. Ma'am, what are your points? What is it that you're going to talk about as an opening remark in this session, ma'am?
Firstly, I wish all of you a very bright morning. I'm really honored to be the member of today's this elite group of educationists, and I really have the heartfelt gratitude to India International Education Council for giving me this opportunity. I hope to go back enriched and much more enlightened after this discussion. Uh, all of us have attended so many seminars and have gone through this NEP 2020 in detail. Today, I'm going to talk about actually what shortcomings we have seen in the previous education policy and how we hope that this NEP 2020 is going to overcome all these shortcomings. So that will be my point of concern and discussion here. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Suchi Gupta, ma'am. It's nice to hear that you would. I'm very happy to see you that, ma'am. You have very humbly said that this is an eminent forum of eminent speakers. It is a pleasure to have you. You've got a lot of experience, and it's important to understand, the difference between what has happened and what is going to happen. What the earlier education policies have done, and what is it that we're going to look at. Previously, a lot of people have talked about CCE, how it failed, though it was a great, movement. It's something that they wanted to actually bring in a lot of change, but somehow it failed. And how do we see NEP 2020 not going the same way, and how do we work on that? Thank you so much for your opening remarks, Suchi ma'am. I now move on to Alok sir. Alok sir, good morning. Can we have your opening remarks, sir?
Good morning, everybody, especially Rajulji, the key speakers, and the participants. First of all, I take this opportunity to introduce myself that I am in the DAV organization from the last about 32 years. And I'm the head of the institution from the last 22 years and serving the cause of education. I've served in 5 states of the country so far. And today, I'm going to, first of all, before I tell what I'm going to brief today, first of all, I extend my thanks and gratitude to the India International Council for providing this opportunity to me to interact with the learned educationists of the area and the country. And I am here today to put forward and to sum up the new education policy 2020 in my own way, so that even a ordinary person, a parent, and the common teachers can really understand between the 34 years old education policy and what is the difference after the 34-year this new education policy introduced by the new government. Thank you.
Uh, Thank you, Alokji. You very rightly said that it is important to understand this policy and important to understand it from the grassroots level. There's a lot of ambiguity. There are a lot of questions being asked, and in this forum, a lot of questions have also been answered. So we look forward to hearing from you, from the vast experience that you have. You have gone through the entire of the old policy. I think when the policy came in, just came into the education industry, that is 32 years back, and now you are looking at the next policy. There'll be hardly any of us who have been through both the policies right from the beginning. So we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so now I move on to the third speaker. Dr. Sachita, are you there? Do we have Dr. Sachita here with us? Is Dr. Sachita there with us? Okay, I understand ma'am has not been able to join. So what we're going to do is let's move on to Prashant Sehgal sir. Prashant Sehgal sir, can we have your opening remarks, and what is it that you're going to talk about today?
Good morning, everyone, esteemed panelists, organizers, and all the listeners and viewers with us today. So I wasn't there in the education system when the last NEP was announced. We just followed it as a student and then as a fellow educator. But I also believe this is the last opportunity for me as an educator to build a future for our future generation and envision whatever is best in the NEP, and any shortcomings, if any, we need to mutually understand and get rid of them as soon as possible before it's actually implemented in full throttle. Being in Delhi, I understand we might be the change makers in the first flow. 2022, the first phase gets implemented. Probably Delhi will have it implemented in most aspects, whether at school level or higher education. So we need to be the change makers. We need to be positive. We need to envision it right now, right away, and ensure that it's implemented in the best possible way, so that later on we don't regret to our children and grandchildren that the 2030, the NEP that came up in the 20s wasn't up to the mark, and look, we could not do anything. So I don't want to be in that situation to tell my grandchildren that that wasn't the best policy made by the government. If it is incorrect in any which way, we need to stand up and So I look at it that way. I put it, who wanted this change and who wants to change and who wants to lead this change. So we need to be these ones who will lead this change. And obviously, we wanted change because we were cribbing all this while that NEP or the present education system is not up to the mark. So we need to stand up now as educators, as the leaders of our organization, to make sure this change happens and in a happy way. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Prashantji. You rightly said that it is this generation who has to take it up. With the blessings and the experience of our senior members of the panel of the education industry, the young generation has to take this up. Am I right, Alok sir? आप लोगों के आशीर्वाद से and with your experience, young people like Prashant sir and young edu leaders, we need to actually take it to the next level. We have to see to it that this policy is this.
कैंसिल हो गया मेरे को इथों बटन आ नप्पिया गया
Just a moment. Okay. So what we're talking about here is that this young generation has to take it up, and you rightly said, what will we tell our students, our children and their grandparents if we do not implement? Because policies are not made and implemented every now and then. Though this was a very, very delayed policy, 34 years is a long time, but I'm sure this government, if it stays, or the next vibrant government which comes in, will actually change, because it should change every 5 to 7 years. 34 years is a long time, but let's start with this and then let's work on that. So thank you, Prashantji. We look forward to listening to you on the other aspects. Thank you so much. I now move on to the next speaker. We have Himani Mittalji. Himani ji, you happen to be the youngest among the entire group today. Can we have your opening remarks? I understand you are from the marketing field, and you also from the psychology part of education. Can we have your quote, please?
Thank you, Jacinderji. Thank you for the opportunity, and I really appreciate the effort being put in by IEIEC towards making people understand the national education policy, as it is the most important thing that we understand the policy. Implementation will only happen once we are thorough with it. And what I am going to talk about from this is that be coming from also, Jacinderji, I'm taking care of a lot of L&D, training and development for teachers, parents, and students. So from there, I see curriculum and pedagogy part of the policy very close to my heart. And the base of the policy is teaching students how to learn. So not only just teaching students subject, content, curriculum, how to learn is very important. And if I look at the generation that we are upbringing today, the generation that will be, coming into the workplace 20 years from now, 15 years from now, the kind of skills they need to have, yes, we really have to work on them today. So I'll be talking about metacognition, which is thinking about your thinking, the skills that we can develop in the students with the help of this policy, with all the markers being given by this policy, so that our students become very effective and very happy and successful individuals of tomorrow. So some very practical aspects to it, understanding metacognition, and some practical aspects to it that we can actually use in teaching. Let us not wait for the students to get to senior school and then we start teaching them skills. Let us begin it in the very early years. If I start teaching the students and the foundation in the foundational years, I am positive with the help of this policy and our teachers' effort, we'll create a generation beyond expectation.
Yeah, thank you, Himaniji. You rightly said that the kind of students and the kind of jobs that after 20 years we need to keep them ready now, but very frankly we don't even know what kind of jobs are going to be there, what kind of skills we're going to have 20 years from now. So what we need to do, as you rightly said, is we need to train them how to learn on their own.
Yes.
NEP does talk about a lot of research base. So the whole idea is to let students know that ask questions.
Yes.
Do not be satisfied till the time you are satisfied. Okay,
Very
ask
true.
question. And that is one thing that we have done bad to the generation, is we have not allowed our generation to ask questions. And the first learning happens when you ask something, and you ask something because you don't know or you want to know more. So very rightly said, this is important. And you've also been working with teacher training and parent training. Since NEP does talk about both of them, we look forward to hearing from you on the part of teacher training and the other aspects that you are going to work on. Welcome to the session.
Thank
uh,
you.
Now we go on to Vinayak ji. Vinayak ji, since you're from the music industry, and NEP 2020 has talked about music, it has mentioned n number of times in the document itself. I'm sure you'll be eager to talk about it. Can we have your quote, your opening remarks for this NEP 2020, decoding it?
Thank you, Jaswinder ji. Very good morning to everybody. It feels wonderful to be a part of this August presence. And like Jaswinder ji said, like music being my core area of expertise and my passion, I would like to share my views as the discussion progresses regarding how music can be beneficial in improving the child's future and in child's education. Jaswinder ji just mentioned that we don't know what kind of jobs we will have 20 years down the line. I think 20 years down the line, we are going to have jobs that will always promote human creativity because there is no denying that human creativity will always be needed in the future. It can be music, it can be arts, it can be story writing, but those are the kind of jobs that might be there in the future, which I am assuming. But yes, I'll discuss about music in detail during my talk. And Jasvinder ji has been served tea right now. So I am from tea industry. Unfortunately, technology still has its limitations. I cannot serve tea to everybody. So please have a cup of tea wherever you are and start this discussion on a very fresh note.
Thank you, Vinayji. Thank you for looking at it. I'm a tea lover, and my day starts and ends with tea. Thank you for the offering the
Nice.
tea, and welcome to the session. We will listen to more on to what you talk about music, how it can be integrated, and how it can make students better humans. Because what I understand, music can trigger something good for the brain, and today our kids are actually stressed out, and I'm sure that will work out. I would like to tell you this. I am also a speaker. I've been asked to moderate this because Rajulji was, he had an emergency, he had to leave. So I would want to put up my point. I come from the language industry. I come from an industry where we promote language teaching in schools. We work with close to 3,000 schools in India. My focus and what I'm going to talk about it is that there's a lot of mention about how language and which language should be used to teach students during the early years. So my focus is going to be on language teaching and what should be done and what is it that NEP talks about. I'm also having a background of technology. I worked as a trainer for Microsoft. I've run a training company all my life. So I'm going to talk about what and how, what kind and what and how we are going to use technology, because NEP 2020 is talking about disruption. It is talking about bringing a sea of change. How will we implement this in a country where we have 1.4 million teachers? Imaniji rightly said that we need to train these teachers. How are we going to do that? The second thing is we're talking about onboarding 2 crore students who are dropouts. For that, they say we are going to require 1 new school every week. Sorry, 50 new schools every week. How are we going to do that? How are we going to talk about? We are talking about a national education policy. That means what happens in the cities, in the metros, is going to happen in the rural area. How are we going to reach there? So my point is, how do we use technology for all these aspects? I will come in with my points when my turn comes in. So we end this session of the opening session, opening remarks. Can I request ma'am, Gupta ma'am, Suchi Gupta ma'am, can I request you to come up with your points, your what you want to talk about for 8 to 10 minutes on NEP 2020. What is it that you would want to focus on and things like that, ma'am? You have talked about the shortcomings and things like that. Can we have your points, ma'am?
Am I audible at the first go? Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Jaswinder ji. Yes, Indian education, which has remained tedious for ages, it is hopeful that it is going to reshape significantly under Modi's new mandate. We cannot deny the fact that the Indian government and institutions have been working hard to reform the existing education model. However, there are still several issues which require to be taken care of. While we all understand how crucial education is to shape our lives, it has also been a major problem in our country. There are several issues that the Indian education system is grappled with. We cannot deny the fact that the Indian government and institutions have been working to reform the existing education model. And I strongly believe that this NEP will definitely take care of all the shortcomings which we have noticed in earlier education system. You know, it's easy to frame policies. However, the real challenge lies in their implementation, as Himani ma'am also pointed out. In case of NEP, it is we, the educationists at the grassroots level, who are actually going to implement it, which is going to be its key to success. When CC came years ago, as Jaswinderji, you also pointed out, the thought behind it was great, but it was not successful because it was not implemented with that spirit at many places. You know, our minds have been groomed in a particular manner of imparting and receiving education. And it would be a challenge for all of us, whether it is the principals, the teachers, the students, or even the parents, to change their mindset and absorb the new NEP in its true spirit. I will try to bring out some important points which have been the problem areas and how NEP 2020 would help in eradicating them. The first very important thing which is going to happen is that the conventional 10 plus 2 school curricular structure is to be replaced by a 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 structure corresponding to ages 3 to 8, 8 to 11, 11 to 14, and 14 to 18 years respectively. This implies that a student must have 12 years of schooling preceded by 3 years of Anganwadi or preschooling experience. To implement this change at grassroots levels, curriculum, content, and pedagogy restructuring must be done as per the NCF, that is the National Curriculum Framework, and content needs to be revisited in textbooks. We have progressed with time. However, we still have not been able to move away from rote learning. While we all know that IB schools are changing the education system at their level, but we also need to understand that the population that goes to IB schools is very limited in nature. Not everyone can afford the education system that they offer. Hence, the government needs to take the baton in their hands and eradicate rote learning from the schools at all the levels. The schools must be encouraged to introduce conceptual learning, which avoids students to mug up what they are being taught. While this will help students to understand the concepts better, they will also be able to retain and apply them better. Now, what NEP is? NEP 2020 even focuses on the use of mother tongue as the instruction medium. However, not mandating the use of any particular language on anyone. Home language or local language will be used preferably till class 8, as mother tongue lets students grasp complex concepts easily. Next is marks still continue to play the most important card in deciding the future of children. And this often comes down upon students as a burdening factor. The pressure of marks often makes students underperform. Instead of focusing the evaluation on a 3-hour exam, the focus of evaluation should be classroom participation by a student, projects, communication and leadership skills, and extracurricular activities. It was something similar of the kind in CCE pattern also. Only then will the students give their best and be evaluated at their best. Parak, performance assessment, review and analysis of knowledge for holistic development. A national assessment center has been proposed to set up to keep a regular check on the education system. NEP 2020 aims to recognize the need to evaluate higher order skills such as creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, visualization, and idea generation. Shifting the focus of assessment from academic grades to higher order skills creates higher performance standards demonstrated through varying degrees of competency across social levels. Next, as we continue to survive in the education system, where science stream topples the stream hierarchy. Students are pushed to become a machine which only goes for high-profile subjects. And subjects like languages, communication, arts are looked down upon and are not considered high-profile. Now, students should rather be pushed to pursue the subject that they like instead of creating a differentiation between subjects. Science, commerce, and humanities streams would get blurred in NEP 2020. It also emphasizes on multidisciplinary learning, and no separations are made on the basis of streams. Students will be allowed to select the subjects of their choice across streams. Now, teachers play the most important role in schools, and hence they should be given the best of class training. After all, they are shaping the future of the nation, the children. Teachers are often considered as second parents. Thus, they should be imparted their training in a way that they can act as parents to the children away from their homes. While teaching, they should create a congenial and home-like atmosphere where students can feel the empathy and love in the classroom, and which can then be reflected in their behaviors. The new education system is an evolved blend of the digital and traditional learning system. Educators, therefore, have to be trained digitally to blend into the new digital training processes, as pointed out by Jaswinder sir also. We all know we have incepted in the era of the fourth industrial revolution. We are living the renaissance of technology, and in such a state, technology and education system cannot be kept apart. Students are now taught about technology right from the early years of their education so that it does not come like an alien thing in their later times. Indian schools have embraced technology and education with an open heart during this pandemic. You know, there is a fictional story in 8th class English literature. Most of us must have read it. The Fun They Had, wherein the author has talked about schools where computers would be teachers and schools would run homes from homes only. We have already experienced such schools during this last year. But in the end, what we all have realized is that physical schools, classroom teaching, and human teachers cannot be replaced. They can just be trained and the system be improvised. A regulatory body, NEET, that is National Education Alliance for Technology, has been set up to integrate technology for better learning outcomes. NEET aims to use artificial intelligence to personalize learning experience depending on learners' requirement. It even proposes to extend National Alliance interests with edtech companies for enhanced learning outcomes. However, one of the biggest challenges is to establish a robust digital infrastructure in remote areas. My next point is the education needs to be personalized. Indian education needs to realize that the absorption power of every student cannot be the same. Hence, the teaching method also cannot remain the same for every student in a class of 30 or 35. Some students have faster learning pace and some are slow. Teachers must have a keen eye on observing each of their students. While it is not humanly possible for a single teacher to pay attention to every student, schools must start looking at the use of technologies like artificial intelligence, which can become the helping hand to the teachers as well as students. And for this, again, teachers need to be trained accordingly. We have to teach the students the purpose of education. Our education system is still having the features what colonial educators had inbuilt. Education is not always about becoming a big, rich person. It should be about humanism. Students must also be taught in depth about the morals of life and inculcated with humanistic values. They should be taught that life is much beyond money and success is not measured in and that the success, the purpose of life is not measured in money. If the Indian education system starts taking these points into serious consideration, I believe we can attain the level of the best education system in the world. It is high time that we as a country start taking education above the mediocre level that we have ingrained with and perceive education from the holistic approach. NEP 2020 is a milestone in the history of the education system in India. It will provide the much needed tectonic shift in the pedagogical structure, emphasizing practical learning that will instill 21st century skills in children. The new education policy is on the lines of universalizing education from preschool to secondary level. It replaces a 34-year-old policy to become a more inclusive, holistic, comprehensive, and far-sighted policy to make India a knowledge hub by the end of this decade. Under the new policy, the government aims to bridge social gaps in participation, access, and learning outcomes in school education with a target of 100% gross enrollment ratio, that is GER, or zero school dropouts by 2030. I really wish and hope to gain from this lifetime change, which is going to take place in our education system. With this, I give a pause to my voice and thank all of you for giving me a patient hearing.
Suchi ma'am, thank you for this wonderful insight. In fact, in whatever time you took, you actually covered each and every point of NEP 2020. Ma'am rightly said, if we want this thing to actually be possible, for this to be successful, teachers play an important part. Teachers training plays an important part. And you've rightly said that teachers should first be trained on the use of technology. They may not have to code, but they need to know more. To know more, you should be able to use technology. That's a very, very, very important part. Ma'am, you also spoke about social skills. Very right. Money is not happiness. Happiness is happiness, which can be acquired even through money by being a good person. Even if you give a small thing as to somebody, it is not, it doesn't matter what you give, it's the matter that you give. So that's very rightly said, that social skills have been brought into this. Very rightly said. Ma'am, very rightly said again, that this is a milestone in the history of education of current India. Our old ancient India already had this, with the people who came into our country, who ruled our country, spoiled that. And NEP 2020 is trying to restore that, is telling our people that look at the ancient India, look at that system, look at that policy. A student, he what he liked, he could do that. And that is what it is coming in. The choice-based credit system is a beautiful system, as rightly said. Students can go and study whatever they want. There should be no differentiation between science, arts, and commerce. Rightly said, humanities is in demand. Let students do what they want and let them choose. You've rightly said all that. Ma'am, thank you for all these insight that you've given to us. So we now move on to our second speaker. Alok sir, can we have your points? Can we have your views? You've got a huge experience. You worked both as a principal and now also as as a regional officer, catering to a lot of schools in J&K. So you have a view from the management perspective and also from the principal's perspective. Can we have your views? Over to you, Alok sir.
Thank you, Jaswinder ji. After listening Madam Suchi Gupta, to begin with, I would like to say two things. Number one, when all are thinking alike, it is a good saying. When all are thinking alike, it means nobody is thinking. I mean, there must be something on the other side of the coin also. I'm not here to put any question mark on the new education policy, but I shall try my level best to present before the audience, because many amongst the audience are my present school teachers, those who are also listening to me, and therefore I shall take this an opportunity to brief my own teachers also, that what I think about this new education policy and how better we can implement and how better we can inculcate as per the policy and guidelines in the years to come. Giving a little brief of the policy, this is perhaps the fourth education policy in the independent India, and Article 21A of the Constitution, it was amended to pave the way for the Right to Education Act in the year 2009. As we know, most of the political parties in the country, they focus on the vote banks, and the children of the age group of 6 to 14, those who were covered in the Right to Education Act for free and compulsory education, they are not directly the voters. And many times, the many policies, they therefore fail to serve the children and the parents to the extent they were prepared, with the intentions they were prepared. In the year 2014, the present BJP-led government, the NDA government led by the BJP, had given a place in their manifesto that they are going, if elected, they will present before the country a new education policy. And sticking to their promise, they have come up with this policy. To begin with, a commission was constituted under the headship of Shri T.S. R. Subramaniam ji, and which submitted its report in the month of May 2016. Thereafter, the government, the ministry, through the CBSE, asked for the suggestions from the stakeholders, and the suggestions were also invited, but nothing much could be achieved. Thereafter, the Government of India constituted another committee of 9 members headed by Dr. K. Kasturi Ranjan ji. And Dr. K. Kasturi Ranjan presented a draft in the year 2019 before the Union Cabinet, and accordingly, this draft proposal came into existence and was approved by the Government of India. First of all, in my brief introduction of 5-7 minutes, I shall come to the level of the stakeholders especially, because I would like to focus upon the real change in the new education policy and the problems with regard to the implementations, if and when are going to be. The name of the HRD ministry as per the new education policy has been changed. Now it will be Education Ministry. The government has promised that it is going to raise the education allocation in the national budget from the existing 1.6 out of the GDP. The government is going to raise it up to 6% of the GDP in the years to come, which is going to be very, very challenging task. It is not that easy going to be. And the gross enrollment is also going to be the key factor. The key speakers, Jaswinder ji and Mrs. Suchi, she was talking about the opening of more and more schools are required. Many schools in 1 week would be required. That is what I mean by gross enrollment would be required or encouraged. Now, straight away now I'll come to the new education policy, what it is. This new education policy has given emphasis on the holistic aspects of the child's personality development and skill developments. An equal weightage in the academics, vocational, and co-curricular activities is going to be given as per this new education policy. Now, the children, the students, they are going to have option and to develop skills in their own area of interest, so that after schooling and after college, the children can go and face the world straight away, what they actually have learned in their schooling and during their college also. The existing pattern of 10+2, as we all know, has been changed, is going to be changed after the with effect from the tentative is 2022. From 2022, this 10+2 pattern is going to be replaced with the 5+3+3+4 pattern. And I would like to focus on this pattern for the ready information of the participants. You see, this 5+3+3+4 is not an age, it is a number of years. These are the number of years. This first 5 is grouped into 2 areas, 3+2. 3 means playway school, kindergarten, playway, जो छोटा छोटा बच्चा जिसे पहले आप नर्सरी वगैरह कहते थे, लेकिन उसमें अब थोड़ा सा ध्यान देने की बात ये हो जाएगी कि उसमें बच्चे को स्टडीज नहीं करानी है आपको। बच्चा खेलेगा, कूदेगा, ड्राइंग करेगा, anything of his interest, his or her interest. The child will be free to do anything during the first 3 years of the play schooling, and next 2 years will be class 1 and 2. During the first 5 years of the schooling, from playway to up to class 2, there will be no examination as per the new education policy. There will be no examination at all. And thereafter it comes the 3 months preparatory stage, class 3, 4, 5. This will be called as preparatory stage. Here, activities and the studies, both things will be focused upon. And Mrs. Suchi Gupta, she was talking about the mother tongue and the optional, or it would be optional rather, it would not be mandatory. But I would like to clarify, if anybody can make me correct, I think it is not up to 8, I think it is up to 5. The mother tongue option is up to pre-primary stage only, not up to middle stage. If I am wrong, anybody can correct me. Anybody can correct me later on. This is what I personally understand out of the policy. But in this pre-preparatory stage, that is class 3, 4, and 5, exams will be conducted. Exams will be conducted. Thereafter comes the third 3, that is middle stage, class 6 to 8. Here, now the preparatory stage जो मैंने बता रहा था 3 से 5 तक की, वो कंसेप्ट यूरोपियन कंट्रीज से हमने थोड़ा उठाया है, क्योंकि वहां पे ऐसा पैटर्न ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्ट कर रहा है. और 6 to 8 का पैटर्न जो है मिडिल स्टेज की बात जो हम कर रहे हैं, इन दिस मिडिल स्टेज, from class 6 onwards, the students will be given the opportunity to learn computer coding. Otherwise, what is going on at present? Class 6, 7, 8, maybe we are having computer classes and teachers are giving them the computers and they are making drawings only. Word pad पे drawings बना के बच्चे अपने घर में चले जाते हैं. And this concept we have derived from China. In China, the coding of the computer classes, it starts from class 6 onwards. And that's the reason we are considering that China is very good in this electronics and these gadgets which the Chinese are making in technology. They are far ahead in comparison to so many other countries, including our own country. And in this middle stage, vocational and technical courses would be taught. Means अगर किसी को vocational में cooking सीखनी है, carpentry सीखनी है, first aid सीखनी है, swimming सीखनी है, all these options will be available in this middle stage, that is for classes 6 to 8. Besides all subjects, maths, science, arts, one Indian language would be mandatory. One Indian language would be mandatory. So this is with regard to the middle stage. And here after comes the 5, 3 or 4. जो last 4 है, that is secondary stage. अब secondary stage 9, 10th या 11, 12th ऐसा नहीं होगा. Secondary stage होगा 9, 10, 11, 12. ये 4 साल एक ही होंगे. ये 4 साल एक ही होंगे. 9, 10, 11, 12. और 9th से ही the students will have the option to select the subjects. जो आप 11th में select करते थे और उसमें आर्ट स्ट्रीम थी और कॉमर्स थी, मेडिकल थी, नॉन मेडिकल थी, Now there is no bar. A student can opt for chemistry and history, physics and business studies. No issue. All the faculties have been merged together so that from class 9th onwards, the students get the opportunity to select and pick subjects of their own choice in which they have interest. नहीं तो कहते थे, घर वाले कहते थे साइंस लो, मैंने कॉमर्स लिया था, तो मेरे मदर कहते थे नहीं साइंस लेना चाहिए, तो अब मैं एक ही ले सकता था। लेकिन आज के युग में अब नए बच्चों को आगे अगले साल से बोले साइंस भी ले ली मम्मा जी, और कॉमर्स भी ले लिया और आर्ट्स भी ले लिया, तो सभी खुश और बच्चा भी खुश। जो उसका इंटरेस्ट है जीवन में, जो उसने बनना है वो बनेगा। ठीक, तो इनमें एग्जाम्स भी होंगे। एंड नाउ इन दिस फोर्थ कैटेगरी, one foreign language is also given addition. A child can go for a foreign language even. Here one point is being discussed around that due to some reason Chinese language has not been given, has not yet been included in this foreign language, which I personally, I am very sure about it, is going to be incorporated later on. Very sure I am going, it is. The reason being, why you see Indian people are demanded abroad more in comparison to Chinese. The reason being, Indians can speak English. They can communicate in English, but Chinese, they can't. Chinese, they speak their own language. In the global market, in the global world, very limited, very few percentage people know about the Chinese, but maximum percentage of people know English. That's why the English knowing people, they are preferred over the Chinese knowing people. So therefore, we are having a big trade with the China. Therefore, keeping everything in view, in the coming years, I am very sure about it, that the Chinese language is going to get place in it. Higher education. Regarding the higher education, I am also going to brief the things very shortly for the information of all, that graduation and post-graduation courses are going to be there. Graduation में होता था 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. अगर कोई फर्स्ट ईयर में रह गया, सेकंड ईयर में रह गया, तो फिर वो BA ग्रेजुएट नहीं माना जाता था. Now the government has changed the policy and it is very encouraging. It is very fine. And I really appreciate it. First year graduation course means any subjects of your choice. No science, no commerce, no humanity. No. Any subjects of your choice you can opt for. And if you have qualified first year of the graduation, you will get the graduate certificate. Certificate in graduation. If you will complete 2 years, you will get diploma in graduation. And if you will complete 3 years, you will get degree in graduation. And thereafter, one more 4th year is reserved, that is research. 4th year में अगर कोई पढ़ना चाहता है तो उसको कहेंगे रिसर्च, और ये ऑप्शनल है. बड़ा ध्यान से सुनिएगा, ये ऑप्शनल है. 3 years तक आपकी डिग्री कंप्लीट हो जाएगी. जो गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स के लिए ग्रेजुएशन का लेवल रहता था वही रहेगा. जो पहला रहता था उतने ही साल लगते थे, आज भी उतने ही साल लगेंगे. Got it? But 4th year is going to be is going to be important for those who will later on go for the post graduation. Initially, at present, you know, the post graduation is of 2 years. Now, a child or a student who will qualify the 4th year research degree of the graduation will have to appear for 1 year in the post graduation degree. And those who have qualified the graduation of 3 years will have to devote 2 years again in the post graduation degree. meaning thereby the total 5 years again, the same. So these are the options and the flexibilities which have been provided in the new education policy, and which are very encouraging, suitable, and those are very helpful for one another. I can go on speaking as long as you wish me to speak on, but if you want, I can have a pause over here
Thank you,
so
sir.
that other people also get an opportunity to come in between, so that thereafter we can have interaction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alokji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very happy to get these points from a person so experienced. Sir, you spoke about holistic development. That is actually which was missing. We were teaching our kids what we wanted them to learn, not what they wanted to learn. Our education system was teaching centric. It was not learner centric. So now that has changed because they can choose what they want to do. बच्चे छोटे होते थे सर, स्कूल जाने पे रोते थे. अब का बच्चा स्कूल जाने में रोएगा नहीं, वो भागेगा जाने के लिए. एंड अगर उसको लगाव हो गया, इफ दे स्टार्ट लाइकिंग, learning is simple. The only thing that passion and love should be there. So that is what they are going to achieve in the foundation year, that is the 5th year, sir. That's